If you knew me before, you wouldn't even look my way. If I had the nerve to speak, you wouldn't hear what I say. Time has come and gone so fast, we're not who we used to be.
All right, and we are back live from Pride in Salem in the Park. And your name?
Tim.
Tim. Thank you very much for joining me, and I'm really excited that you had tried. Sometimes words are hard. Gotta love that tism. So we were kind of talking a little bit about being autistic and like having no filter, because I'm guilty of that too.
Oh, yeah.
How old were you when you were first diagnosed?
12?
12? What was that like? Was that like life-changing, or did it like...
My dad didn't want me to have the label, and so he was always against it, and it took another 3 years of fighting back of like, I have some learning disabilities, why can't we put a name to the face?
That's so unfortunate.
It's funny because a lot of the autism things that I got from him, and he's now facing it at 65.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, I think I was a little bit autistic, but I'm not going to diagnose myself. It's like, all right, Dad.
I went through that same thing with my grandmother. Like, looking back at Grandma Nathy now, like, there's no doubt in my mind that she was on the spectrum, just based on all of the things and the totality of her life. And it's one of those things where you hear people talk about autism as not being genetic, and I push back on that. Because I'm thinking, I think it's got to be some more to that. There's
you get
gotta
traits
be.
of it from one or the other.
Yeah.
Sometimes both.
Yeah. And then it's weird because, like, life in general can be hard if you're autistic. Because, like, for me, like, not understanding the social norms has always been a problem.
I've been fired from a job or two for saying things that come to mind, and then people are like, hey, why'd you talk about this with this person? It's like, I'm sorry they brought it up. Oh,
Yeah.
That's not very work appropriate. You are in violation of this and this and this. We'll be seeing you. So, yeah, that's my life story right now.
Yeah.
Trying to understand the social norm and not saying the wrong thing.
But nobody gives you instructions.
There's no manual to adultism.
Yeah. Which is weird, because there's manuals for just about everything else.
Everything's for dummies except for autism.
Yeah.
I mean, there probably is a book for autism for dummies, but it's only talking about the most severe cases. It's not like your everyday Joe.
Yeah.
Or everyday Tom or Tim.
Yeah. Because, like, when I see shows like Love on the Spectrum, for example, it's a very curated autism that you see there.
It's to a certain point, it's very much to a prescribed audience that's going to give the biggest wow factor.
Yeah.
And not the, wow, I relate to that really well.
Mm-hmm. Which is different.
It's hard to find. You're not going to find producers that are going to want shows that are going to relate to the everyday. It's going to relate more to the extreme, that they go, oh, hey, this is some juicy content. What can we get for it?
But it's very exploitive.
Yeah.
It's not affirming. It's not really supportive. And it's really just taking advantage of people who meet a certain criteria.
Now, it's when those people who meet that criteria can take it and turn it to their advantage, where they're making the system work for them. That's what I'm trying to find my dilemma in, and it's not food so far.
Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm. And, like, one of the things that I find fascinating, too, is because there seems to be a shift in conversation from a lot of organizations that are claiming to be neurodivergent affirming. But then you get there and realize that it's just lip service. And that part, to me, is very frustrating.
I could see how that's frustrating. I personally haven't had that for myself.
Yeah.
A lot of the time it's been, oh, hey, you're mostly normal. We can treat you like you're normal. And it's like, okay, cool. Let's go behind the closed doors and let's let the tism out because there's no one watching.
Yeah. But that's not healthy.
No.
Like, masking to that extent is just, it's bad for your mental health. It's bad for your physical health. It's just bad all the way around.
Yeah.
Like, I
Agreed.
went masking for the first 37 years of my life, not understanding, like, why am I, like, having a hard time keeping a job? Why am I having a hard time this? Why am I having, like, oh, it's the autism. Like, I get it now. Doesn't make life any easier.
Oh, no.
It hasn't changed any of the outcomes, but at least I understand why.
But now you can kind of like lead yourself on where you want to go.
Yeah.
You're like, hey, the TISM's really going to respond well to this. Let's have someone else introduce it so I am not the one that's having to introduce my TISM to the rest of the world.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, let's go do bowling in trains. And someone's like, oh my God, I really love trains. Like, you have no idea. And it's like, wow, tell me more.
Yeah.
It's needing to find more branches and avenues to open up for the TISM. It's, I want to use like a metaverse version of it.
Yeah.
It's like the TISM's metaverse, but until you open the door to that particular direction, you're not entirely sure what's out there. So find your holder of keys, and so unlock the doors that you want.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about voice acting as a way to do it. That's not going to make you very much money right off the bat, but I mean, I could be good. I just don't know yet.
I get that. That's why I started this podcast.
Okay.
Because before the podcast, I was a bit of a recluse. Like,
Yeah.
I wouldn't leave the house. I didn't have a lot of friends. And it was the podcast that gave me permission, if you will, to be...
Heard.
yeah. But, like, even to just talk to people.
Yeah.
Because I'm such a usual... My default is so introverted that
That's
I always
fair.
want to stay the house. I just don't want to leave the house.
I'm right there with you.
Yeah.
That's currently what I do. I recently lost a job. I've been looking for a new one, and every day it's like supposed to go and do cold call, drop off interviews and stuff. And it's I can do like 2 a week before I get overwhelmed, and then it's like, what am I doing this for again? Why am I overwhelmed? Right, let's go back to our YouTube shorts and doom scroll.
It's because, like, the interview process in of itself is asking for more often than not, is asking our brains to do something that our brains can't do. And then people are surprised when we can never get a job from a job interview. They're basing all of these norms and all of these things and all of this criteria that you don't know that you have to meet. And you never get it right because you're trying to guess what somebody else is trying to figure out. But if you don't have the answer key, you're kind of doomed for failure. You know, there's a reason I've only gotten 4 jobs out of job interviews. You know, like, I'm 4 for 463, I think now.
Wowza.
Yeah. And so I know pretty much every time I apply for a job, I'm probably not going to get it. And that's, in of itself, is traumatic because when the numbers say 99.92%, how are you supposed to be positive?
Right. I guess for me, well, the last job I was at was a little good pay grade. It's like 19 an hour making sandwiches.
Yeah.
And then it's like I'm looking around. It's like everything's starting at $15.05, and I'm like, that's Little Caesars. Like, no harm to it, no foul to it. I like Little Caesars. It's great. Personally, wouldn't go and work there. It's not in my wheelhouse. I could learn how to do it. Sure, I could operate the pizzas and the ovens and whatnot. It'd be easy. But like, I don't know. I've been finding myself applying to things that don't make sense for me. I applied to a retail merchandiser who was selling phones through AT&T as a third-party thing, and I'm like, they're like, hey, why'd you reach out to us? I'm like, I don't know. You reached out to me on Indeed.
Yeah.
His notification said that I might be interested. It's like, 25 an hour? Sure, I'd be interested for that.
Yeah.
But then they're like, hey, you have to do these extroverted things. And I'm like, oh, that's not meant for me. I'm not going to lead you on anymore. It's like, I can sign myself out of this one. Thank you, bud.
Right. And it's interesting because, like, what I've also noticed, because I did some time as a job developer for people with disabilities, and I hate the fact that the default, if you have a disability, is something like working in a grocery store or working in a restaurant. Because, like, if you're autistic and you have sensory sensitivity,
Yeah.
the last place that you can be that's going to let you thrive is in a frickin' restaurant.
Yeah.
That's like impossible.
I think the best thing for someone who might have some strong disabilities, who can't socialize with people and feel the textures of things, the hand feel, the feel of the flavors in the mouth. I was a smell person.
Yeah.
I could walk through a crowd of people and be like, oh, this one uses Febreze, this one uses Glade. Like, I could tell the different sense of things because I used to work in a Home Depot merchandising thing, so I was kind of used to the house smells. And so, like, yeah, the sensory can be an overload. But an ideal job I see would be using AI, working online, doing data review, or your helping with supply clients, and you're doing stuff like that. It would be very easy because you only have to talk to 5 people of contact, generally. Maybe 10 people of contact. And then that's your peopling skills for the week. And then you don't have to worry about being overwhelmed and you have to talk to 50 different Stacys before you're like, hey, John, I can't do this anymore, and you crash out.
And once you get down to that point where you're in sensory overload, it's hard to get back without taking a break completely for a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. And another thing, too, that sort of just kind of one of the things that I'm puzzled about, especially in 2025, is all of this talk about causation and research. And it wasn't until like this last year where the research was no longer about the cure, and research is finally starting to be like, how can we help people thrive and survive? And I think that's going to be a huge shift. Fingers crossed it sort of delivers. I have my doubts, but at least they're starting to talk about it.
Yeah, that's great.
Because I don't want to be cured.
I think the cure really is just a lot of weed, but that's just my own personal opinion.
Yeah.
I have to self-medicate so I don't turn my feelings into felonies.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It's kind of shaped my personality. I was a little bit of a road rager before I started medicating myself, and now while I do feel it, it's not as potent, it's not as strong.
Yeah.
And it holds the tism back. I still can't pronounce words very well sometimes when I get too excited. The tongue goes faster than the brain. But it's become more manageable.
Yeah. I've had those moments like all the time where words are just hard. Mm-hmm. And like you try to explain to people what that is, and people just look at you kind of weird, like, I don't understand.
Sorry, you're in my obsession zone. It's bongs and blades. What's
up? Yeah, I love that.
I have about 20 bongs and 18 blades.
That's awesome. Mm-hmm. How'd you get into blades?
I went on a family trip to Sisters. We're a camping trip out there, and we stopped by a gift shop, and they had swords and daggers up on the wall. And I'm like, any of them sharp? And they're like, we can sell you one that's sharp. Everything else is dull. I said, okay, I'll take it. So I got some fantasy fiction looking King Arthur type dagger. I got a very nice stiletto made out of 510 steel. And a very nice little pickup piece. It was great. And then ever since then it was, let's go fantasy swords, fantasy knives. I picked up a bastard sword on Amazon for $35. It was an apprentice mistake. Yeah. Really, really shoddy work, but for $32 you can pick up a well-rounded blade that you can practice with.
And why was that? So there was only one that was sharp. Did they provide a reason?
It's just because what they picked up from the provider.
Okay.
It's like what you get on Amazon.
Yeah.
So they're just hiking it up for another 15% on whatever you bought it on Amazon for, which I looked up. Some of them were like $35 and they're selling them for $45. It's like, all right, cool. Make your gold somewhere.
Yeah.
But I did that, and then you go to the coast, and there's some antique shops that have knives. Nothing that really has swords, except there is a knife shop inside of a gift shop on the main strip in Lincoln City.
That's awesome.
Spectacular. They have everything you want: cane swords, regular swords, katanas, bamboo ones, practice ones. It was all the real ones, all the non-real ones, fantasy ones. Loved it.
I love that. Well, thank you very much for talking with me today. Thank you for coming to Pride.
Yeah.
And I hope you enjoy the rest of the event.
Thank you.